Oh, that's a rough segue. Shalom, everyone. It's 4:51. Tuesday. My anniversary today. I'd love to say happy anniversary to my wife. I'd love to. She's not here, though. The difficult part for me to understand with you folks at Calvary Life is how easy it is for you to believe how discardable I am now. I'm supposed to believe that after 25 years, she can maintain and keep everything, and I lose everything. Everything I built with her for 25 years, that because I could never reconcile with her. Church, understand. Mrs. Arelis, understand. This is what I came to the church for. Because she would not reconcile with me. She would not follow the biblical course of how you solve problems in a relationship. It didn't make sense to me. None of you people gave me proper counsel. None of you people did anything in the realm of order and discipline in the church. You guys aren't a real church. You guys don't have a functioning elderly body with a discipline model in place. You guys really aren't a functioning church, not the way you're supposed to be. If you did have this in place, you wouldn't be telling a husband, what if your wife doesn't want to reconcile with you? That means I'm nothing. That means my children are nothing. That means my children have to hear these words and say, okay, what does that mean? How am I to be taught what marriage is, what reconciliation is, what proper redress of grievance is, how to talk to each other, how to get along, how to solve problems together? I couldn't convey it enough. The person you all see is the person I live with. I lose all of that. She's depicting that I have no value at all, that she's okay with throwing every ounce of me into the trash. I'm that bad of a person that the church is supporting her do this. Right? Isn't the church supporting her decisions? I'm checking what's going on Facebook. Sorry. None of you actually know who I am as a person. None of you. Some of you are starting to get to know me. Some of you don't even take the time. I see what's going on. You don't like that I attack your pastor. I'm not attacking the man. He's just not a man of God. He's just not. He mishandles the word every time he opens his mouth. And he's slimy. He's slimy like a snake oil salesman. Makes me uncomfortable every time I see him. And it's not a personal thing. I go to church after church after church. We went to about 10 or 12 of them. And this guy, I'm sorry, Mr. Cancel. I know what you do. You just go to the Calvary source and you just pilfer from their material. You just listen and take from the sermons that are already there, from everybody that works at Calvary. And you don't think anybody's going to notice it. And then you pepper in your own clever stories, which aren't clever stories at all. They're false. They're ridiculous stories. Your need to have those stories is what's wrong. Your last sermon, I couldn't believe it. But this is not about that. I discovered what was wrong with her. Listen, let me put this on the table. Would the church be acting this way towards me if this was my sister? If this was my sister, and we attended the church as a family, and she was super nice at the church, and super nice in all these places where the church body would be, but at home, she suffered from some sort of mental unrest that caused some sort of personality shift. What if it was like that and it was my sister? Would you denounce and deny me? Why is it just because it's my wife? Is this more difficult? Why? I mean, you got these modern Christians who get taught foolishly by foolish people, deceptive people who are deceived. And you wonder why they don't practice what they preach. There's all this talk of restoration and reconciliation and repentance, but there's no talk about recognizing your sin as it is. When is it happening? When is it manifesting itself? There's something psychologically wrong with a group of people that just believes my wife. You just believe her. And because of that, I have nowhere to go. Do you understand how wrong that is? She comes to you with the narrative. In that narrative, she will say, he says these things, he does these things. You just have to look out for it, right? So then what she'll do is she'll create the environment where my normal behavior in response to her abnormal behavior, my questioning, me being upset, any behavior whatsoever, she tries to use and say, see what he's like? I gotta know. I gotta know. Because she sends a mixed message to me. She says, in the beginning of the marriage, because I'm going to say it, at the time, I was a damn good bass player. I don't have the chops today because I don't have the practice. I got the muscle memory, but I don't have the dexterity anymore and the strength and to play the way I used to play. But I asked her, I said, what do you think? You think I'd be willing to do anything. And see, that's what really is the most painful thing. She stood in this doorway a few weeks back, and she said, while she was getting dressed to abandon me again, she said, and you could have done anything. You could have become anything. And I'm trying to figure out what that statement's supposed to mean, because I was only supposed to become your husband. And I didn't get to become your husband. And my children never got to see the real me. And you truly spent way too much time. Folks, you got to know how much I love this girl. It looks like that when she grew up, other people's behavior wasn't explained to her properly. I am not going to sit here and tell people that my wife was abused. I'm not. That's not how this works. Okay? It's not. Got a little. This guy's like in the wrong spot. We're going to move him. We were going to try. There it is. Sorry. This little thing at the bottom that tells you what song you're listening to. It's kind of in the wrong spot. And for some strange reason, I can't select it now. I'm super confused. I'm literally looking at it and I'm not able to highlight it. That's why. And it won't let me select it. This is ridiculous. All right. Sorry. What a time waster, right? Just to put that in the right spot. Yeah, one of those last minute edits I didn't get to. Can I bring my water over here? A little closer. Thank you, son. Well, folks. Yeah, it's like she can easily walk away from everything she built with me. I'm that discardable. She doesn't remember anything good. She's not holding dear to our marriage. You guys have to understand, I don't know what she's told you. But the truth is that the lovely girl that was my everything, my only thing, all of my security and safety here, it was always under threat. I left everything behind from the state of homelessness to be with her. Without her, I have nothing. Without me, she seems to be okay. So what does that mean? That I've never been anything to her? And if I was something to her, I became something discardable. But that's not what I did to her. I had her leave because I stopped being important to her. The calm, gentle man that she wanted, the smart, intelligent man that was always there for her, always there to pick her up and lift her up. I just didn't exist, obviously. Everything we shared disappears. Buying the new car and letting the old car go right at the same time. We didn't even get to keep it and let the kids beat around in it and learn how to drive. We were supposed to keep that car. We didn't get any money for it at all. And had we been able to move and get out of this place like I planned, my kids would have had a nice beater car to start with, to learn how to drive. You don't realize I can't come on here and say I was the best thing that ever happened to her. I'm the only thing that ever happened to her. And she's the only thing that ever happened to me. And for her to continually not see how much I loved and sacrificed for her, how much I learned, how much I wanted to be more and more and more for her, and it never worked. So my abandonment issues were always right there. That I was never enough, that I was never ever enough. She wanted me to believe that she was always worth apologizing to, but I wasn't worth apologizing to. She wanted me to believe that she was always someone worthy of being told she's loved. I'm not worthy of being told that I'm loved. Culturally, she is raised differently. Some folks in America, some places in America are a little bit more reserved as far as public displays of affection. I'm not the guy that wants to glom on my wife everywhere in public, touching her. But I love her. I'm different than her. I know this. But every time something would happen between us, she would reveal and depict and exhibit that she truly didn't see me for me. She truly didn't see me for me. And it got to the point where she was no longer satisfied with believing I was doing something wrong. See, here's the thing. She doesn't believe I'm a bad guy either, does she? Is she flipping the script saying I was just this bad guy all the time? I don't think she's saying that. So how does she explain what went wrong and when it went wrong and how it would go wrong? How does she explain it to folks? Because when she talks to us, she shows that she doesn't remember details correctly. And when we do, she gets mad and she says we're lying. That means what? What does that mean? It means there's no way to reach her. If she thinks something is true, how do I convince her it's not true? How? What's the best way to go about it? So you see what happens is if she starts saying, we'll see what you're like, husband. I see what you're doing, husband. and I'm not really like that. Do you see what's happening right there in that moment? I'm at huge risk. If at any time my precious wife doesn't see the guy that I want to be for her, if she doesn't truly see who I want to be for her, I can't get through because she shuts down. She said some things to me right at the very beginning, which makes some sense in certain context. She said she doesn't like loud voices, raised tones. She says it shuts her down. It makes her uncomfortable. She feels. So see, that's really her speaking about that. Really, she's not saying you have to talk quietly to me all the time, but she is truly saying that there's a trigger, okay? And she wants me to be aware of that trigger. I'm happy to be aware of that trigger. But what about you when you do these things that aggravate me and it causes me to raise my voice, and then you fight with me in that raised voice situation, and you're arguing, and you're creating the situation where my raised voice is now the voice that's shutting you down. You see how that's not fair? You're creating the situation where now I'm upset because you don't want to answer questions, you don't want to talk to me. And the first thing you want to do is just go, oh, what, are you perfect? So you see, at every situation, folks, she's always showing me that I'm just discardable, that I have these conditions I must meet, that if I don't meet them, she won't meet mine. That's not real love. That's the kind of love that that young girl told me I'd have to worry about back in the 90s, before I met my wife. Met a girl on America Online. She's telling me that Filipino girls, Filipino women never really ever respect their men. They put them in this place where they're constantly forced to earn it. And that's what I felt like. Like I was never capable of measuring up. And what I've learned through my study is that that's what she was always feeling like too. And somehow I was always triggering it. Not on purpose, but there were things about my approach to discipline that were not sensitive to her. Because I saw things as, I can't understand. This is so it's common sense. It's easy for me to understand. How come you guys can't figure it out? That's how I'd be like. And it comes across as very insensitive. And you're my everything. And apparently I'm nothing now. I'm not worth reconciling with because there's too much risk. What's at risk? Everything's at risk if you walk away. You people don't understand, and I say that a lot. The violence that she instigated. My son hit her. I put a stop to that because that's not what this house is. I had to show her. I had to show her that it's not what she said it was. I had to do something I didn't want to do, and I had to prove it to her. And she can't handle it. I had to prove to her that she only created problems in this family when she refused to address grievance. And we're only saying whatever may come up that would be questionable, cause concern. I use the term grievance because that's anything. anything that anybody comes across together to discuss and figure out. Grievance, right? I have to move. I hope this camera's going to follow me. So let me shut it off. Let me shut off the tracking so I can go pick this thing up real quick. You don't need the camera chasing me all over the house. I need air in here. It's getting hot. I'm getting sweaty. Let me call my son in here real quick. All right, he's here and he's got the fan going. Well, folks, thank you, Devin. Well, those change. I didn't know everything was moved. Huh. I didn't know I moved my logo. All right, I'm going to share something else with you. Those cards I'm making. Wow. I have never been in a position where my study has been so convicting. So convicting. You see the cards on my that I put up in the album? I was looking around. Now, I got to put this out there just so people know. I'm not in disobedience here. I know that I didn't partake in the Omer thing. I found what the counting of the Omer is. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was something that really shows how important it is to prepare yourself for the kingdom. And in those cards, you can't just take any one of those 49 cards and look at them as one thing and go, yeah, I'm that way. I do that. Because there's another card that's going to convict you and say, oh yeah, really? You do it this way though? And that's fun. Because the power of the Holy Spirit, the power of the Ruach HaKodesh is real. It's real for those who have it within them. You see things that others don't see. You hear things they don't hear. Your attention's grabbed. You're aware of things differently. Are you better? Well, you might be better off, but it doesn't mean better. Sometimes it means blessed. Sometimes it means afflicted. Not by Yah, but by facts and reality. The world is a rough place. The world is hard. And I don't think anybody has real love anymore. I don't see it. I don't see people meeting the challenges. I mean, think about this, right? Here's how it went down. I see my wife in front of the church in her car. The first words out of my mouth are, is my son here? I'm worried about Vance. That's the first thing I go to talk to her about. And I want to sit down in the car with her because I can't stand I can't stand up anymore. I've been there for a while. And John gets involved. Step away from the car like he was a police officer. Like he was a bouncer at a club. But I'm on a public street with my wife, and I'm asking for a moment in time.
He had no right. He had no business stepping in and not letting anything unfold before him. He could have easily yanked me out of the car. He could have easily done anything he wanted to me if I was a threat. But I wasn't even allowed to be anything, which is the story of my life with this woman. So as far as an apology is concerned, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You people see me on here talking about the same stuff every day. A lot of weird invites coming in. You got to be careful on Facebook, man. There's a lot of people that just don't know and don't care about you as a person, and they try to tear you down. I got people trying to taint my reputation all the time. So why don't you guys show up? Why don't just one of you Christians, so-called Christians at Calvary Life, why don't you just show up? Why don't you just come and take my son? This is what I suggested before. I said, Joel, why don't you just come and take my son to lunch and listen to him? No one is trying to hurt Ann David. Do you understand this? And if she wants me to believe that she's not trying to hurt me, then why can't we come together? Why can't we do what we're supposed to do together? Come on, church. This is not a body of believers as they should be. I'm sorry. I love you all. I see your kids. I see you folks. But something happened to me. And it started when I found people misinterpreting Paul and making all sorts of new religions out of it. And it's an overly general statement, but that's it. Nobody actually doing. Do you honestly think? Thank you, Deborah. Do you honestly think our Messiah, how would that go down? He walks right into Calvary Life and he hears you say, well, you know, it may seem like God is this God of rules that people are supposed to follow, but he's really not. And then he came down, Emmanuel, God on earth, and walked among us, and he told us how to live. Told us how to live, rules to follow. You teach him and God are one. God's not a person with rules to follow. Jesus is a person with rules to follow. You say that. God's not somebody that has rules to follow anymore because he came as Jesus, and now Jesus has rules to follow that none of you follow. None of you. Joel, you're hiding behind the children now. You're using the tragedy that happened to hide. Why can't she reconcile with me? And why doesn't she want to? Could someone explain that to me? How can you call her a God-fearing, Yah-fearing, Yahushua-following woman that had no desire whatsoever to rebuild a 25-year marriage to restore the children and restore everything? You're telling me that you embrace her story, and you don't care about my kids and what they've lost? You don't care about their story, their testimony? You don't care about my story, my testimony? You only care about her story and how she makes you feel. And if I place that challenge before you, you don't even know how to deal with that challenge. Do you understand that? I loved her too. I still do. The wonderful things that you guys all see, those belong to me. I'm owed that. She's owed that too. But if you expect me to just ignore wrongdoing because of feelings, it can't happen because my children won't be taught correctly. None of you know me at all. So if I say words to you, you only have how she's depicted me to you. If I say discipline, you don't know what I mean by that. The word disciple is in there. But you don't know what I mean when I say discipline. Discipline is getting to the bottom of the problem, finding out what you could have done differently to avoid the crisis, learning it, implementing it. Discipline, it's making the change. It's not scolding and spanking and yelling and screaming and stupid stuff like that. That's not what discipline is. You have to discourage first, sure, but you have to encourage also. You have to teach why, not just what. That's why I'm different than, let's say, a tender-hearted soul like a Mr. Jansen or somebody who's always got that nice vibe. I need guys like that all the time. I need a pastor like Matthew Jansen all the time. But reality is reality, and you got to be prepared for it. So how do you practically even apply Torah today? How? These cards I made are the start of it. Am I truly loving as I can? Is my love tempered, right? With firmness. But then again, is my firmness too firm? Very seriously convicting details. You can just look it up on my Facebook page. I put up, I had to do them 3 times to get them right. And there's about 10 of them that need to be fixed and 10 of them that still need to be done. I got about 9 incomplete ones and about 9 ones to fix the bottom text. But just look at them. Am I truly who I claim to be? And then you get to that point where you're like, well, yeah, I do this and I do that. And then there's a conviction on the bottom. Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm just going to ask people for understanding. This is a very difficult thing for me. A lot of people in this situation suffers from this, if she's truly suffering from this. Even coming to her with the truth can make it worse. Gosh darn it. My nerves are shot. Devin just walked in. Little things make my heart go. Well, I woke up feeling very alone, very lonely, and sad because every day is the same now. Every day I have to look at the future and not know what it brings. I'm being tested. Of course I'm going to put my faith in Yahuah. I don't have choice. I'm not even allowed to put my faith in my wife anymore. I'm not allowed to put faith in my wife. Scripture says don't believe in men, don't put faith in them. They'll let you down, right? Well, what's the rest of the... What's that say about what I'm doing here? Gosh, Annie. This whole production, this whole mess of stupid. It's because she won't talk to me. Doesn't anybody understand that that's what went wrong in the whole marriage? I could never reconcile. She kept telling me I was all these horrible things, but then relying on me to be amazing. So the same amazing is also horrible. And my children had to watch her do this to me. And they couldn't say anything. And I couldn't involve them. Because that would be wrong. I mean, I wasn't going to go around saying, see what she's really like. But in that realm, they had to see it. Because she was telling them that all of her bad behavior was because I existed. Was my fault. And then she'd get asked, are you saying that it's all Dad's fault? And she'd say, no, I'm not saying that. So you'd keep getting flipped over, flip-flop, 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 and you don't have any answers at all. She believes that I think she's just useless and a waste and stupid. She believes that that's what I think about her. With the word just in front of it. That she's just these things. She's the one that would say to me, you have to be careful of how they speak. She would say that me being upset about something wipes all the good stuff she does away. She would show that she believed that if she made a little mistake, I was then saying, you're worthless. This is what I'm seeing happening to my son also. Now, yes, I'm the common denominator, but no. There's something that happens where they change what's being said into something that's not said at all. And I knew this because my wife would try to then create hypotheticals. If you're familiar with I think it's Kathy Newman interview with Jordan Peterson, where Mr. Peterson literally says, I'm A, B, C. I am A, nothing but A. I think B, I do C. A, B, C. He says it over and over again. This is just the example. And so what she'll do is she'll say, oh, so what you're saying is this, and take what he says and change it into something else. And he'll say, I didn't say that at all. I said this. You see this. And then you watch her create a hypothetical. You say, so you wouldn't do this. So you're saying you wouldn't be this way under these circumstances. I lived with that all the time. Mrs. Arelis, I wish you were my friend. I really, really do. But you took this stance as an enemy against me, and you don't even know me. I tried to use you all in love to reach her tenderly. Before this all happened, do you all remember? And the only thing you guys could do is get caught up that I believed some sort of weird doctrines. You got caught up on it. Your husband said, I don't know, Brian, you sound like a heretic. How? Because I believe what Scripture actually says, not what the modern church says. And I wouldn't be doing anything wrong if I did, because I understand the truth. I can't earn my salvation. I'm garbage. Are you kidding me? I spent week after week crying, wondering why Yahuah would even pick me. Garbage, folks. Do you understand? I was coming out of that. You haven't had my testimony yet. I was coming out of that testimony. I was coming out of that event knowing that he was getting my attention, chastising me, turning me back to him, and I couldn't figure out why. I wanted to know, who am I supposed to be in the kingdom? Sound familiar? And you're not going to be anybody in the kingdom if you don't find out how to love the way Yahuah taught. And my wife, my loving wife, she got a book for me. She printed it for me. You understand this, folks? I'm led to believe that my wife loves God so much that she sees my struggle, wondering why he would even pick me because of how I shook my fist at him. And she lovingly comes to me and gives me that book. And in that book it says I'm forgiven. Right? That there's a purpose for me. That I need to be patient. And I need to let the Holy Spirit work in me and ready me for whatever he has in store for me, right? That's what Anne did. Where is she now? What does forgiveness require? Didn't she ever want forgiveness from me? She never wanted to apologize for anything? So it would repeat? She didn't learn from mistakes, so they would repeat? The underlying principles of how and why the mistakes would happen would repeat, and the surface level mistakes would be different? So she'd apologize for a new surface level mistake, but never really address underneath what was happening, the true issue? That's not respect. That's not regard. That's not resolve. And in that, not offering that, what a mixed message. I matter? I matter, Anne? You just sat here 2 or 3 weeks ago and told me I could have done anything. What does that mean? You wouldn't even let me be your husband. You won't let me be your husband now. A husband should be able to put his foot down and say, enough's enough, wife, stop that, and she stops. Whatever behavior that's not acceptable, that's causing trouble in the house, that's making people aggravated, I should be able to raise my voice and say enough. Everybody go to their corners, and we'll come back to this with calmer hearts. But I can't put my foot down because now I'm the bad guy. I can't stand up for anything I believe in. I can't be firm because now it's just justification for her to leave and walk away. Remember what I said? A raised voice? She said it shuts her down. So she gets to cause the trouble that makes the voices raise, and then she uses the excuse of the raised voice to shut down and walk away. Who wants that? That's not reconciliation. Yeah, tell me about it, Ms. Arelis. What if my wife doesn't want to reconcile? Tell me about it. Today's my anniversary. Today I stood in St. Patrick's in front of hundreds of people. A church wedding that it was offered to us for free. Because people believed in our story. People believed in our testimony. People believed in Ann and I. I believed in Ann and I. I believed in her so much. And I didn't know enough about what I know now that I said, okay, I will become a Catholic so she doesn't have to take me to the Philippines, spend $5,000, meet the clergy at the church where she was baptized and sign all those documents saying that she wants to marry a Protestant. That's what was on the table. I said, no, all right, I'll just do that. I didn't think anything of it. That's a kind of sacrifice I would make for her. I took her name. I can't entertain somebody asking me, Brian, do you love your wife like Christ loved the church? Of course I do. Does she love me? My wife never treated me like I was irreplaceable. She always treated me like I was discardable. And if she says under her breath that's not true, according to who? I'd love nothing more than just to have all of this disappear and have her show up. It's Tuesday. It's 5 o'clock. She's getting off of work in just a few minutes. And it would take her about 40 minutes to get home, and she'd be home by 6:40, 6:45. She'd head off to the bathroom to clean up, start our day together. But too much time had passed without addressing the issues and seriously handling them. I got lazy. I got complacent, but I also started waiting. I just started waiting for the one day she'd say, wow, Brian, you were right. This place is hard to take care of. And I see what you really meant when you asked me for help. I've been waiting for 20 years for her to acknowledge the truth of me and anything I ever said to her. Vance needed help? No, I don't think so. This house is hard to clean. I've never been acknowledged in this marriage to my satisfaction. That's not narcissism. It means that if you and I are having a conversation, you should be able to convey to me in that conversation that you understand me so well that you could convince me you understood me. I'd be like, yeah, that's exactly my point. I don't have that with her. Understand this, folks. The world that we live in, you cannot pray for, support anything that you don't understand. How can you pray for something you don't understand? How can you support something you don't understand? Same goes for how can you deny it or denounce it debate it, or refute it. You can't do any of that unless you understand it. So if you're in a situation with someone that claims to be your friend and they're in an argument with you and they're refusing to understand your side of the story so they could convey it to you and you could be convinced that they understand it, what are they fighting? What are they upset with? What are they denouncing and denying? And here it comes. My wife would start conveying, and I would start interrupting her. She would get mad at the interruption, but she didn't understand that the interruption was for her benefit, because if she's starting to think something negative and she's proving she doesn't understand me, I would not be a good person if I allowed her to stay in that negative space. If my wife thinks something horrible, she's starting to feel horrible about it. So if I go and interrupt her as she's expressing this and say, no, it's not like that, she's now not happy that I'm telling her it's not what it seems. She's now just upset that she's being interrupted. What do you do with that? She says, well, how do you know? You're not letting me finish what I have to say. And I said, it's very easy. You do the same thing. If you tell me something and I respond, you will instantly know right away if I got it by how I respond. You will know. And you will then, if I don't get it, are you going to want to have a fight with me? No, you're going to want me to understand so you can have the discussion. So you're going to be paying attention to see if someone really truly understands you. If they depict and exhibit that they don't, you've got to stop things before they get out of control. That's respect. That's regard. That's resolve. That's love. If I say something to you and you misunderstand it, that has to be fixed. Period. If I was wrong in how I said it, that's got to be looked at. If you were wrong in how you interpreted it, that's got to be looked at. And both parties have to come to an agreement. That's the life I wanted with her, and that's the one I couldn't have. That's what I could not have. What if she doesn't want to reconcile? Tell me about it. She hasn't ever wanted to reconcile. And it's not right. It's not right. So, my apology for all the crying. My plea is for understanding. Help us, please. Stop just denying the husband. Stop just denying the children in the home. Stop just taking the side of the wife. We're not looking to harm her. We're not looking to discard her. We're looking to restore her to Yahweh, to Yahuah. That's what's right. If she is this Christian person, then none of this is a problem, right? Then tell me what the problem is. Look at it a little deeper. Is she just saying that I'm not worth it? Her kids aren't worth it? Needs to be looked at, folks. This is not a joke. I'm going to go because I can't.